Hello, welcome to D&O Electronics. Today in the shop, Eico ST70 stereo. This is a tube amplifier, integrated amplifier, so it's a preamp and an amplifier, 35 watts per channel. Did a full recap, and I went ahead and did these modifications from Trinola. I have them on the screen behind me, Trinola. This gentleman spent quite a bit of time looking at these amplifiers. He came up with a nice bit of upgrades, modifications to it. They improved the performance, they improved the distortion, and fixed some of the low noise hiss that's in it. And went ahead and did those modifications, and the speaker reverse switch has been deleted, and the other switch right here has been deleted. This is now just a power switch to power on the unit. From here, the normal power switch is right here at the treble. So every time you would turn it on, you would be adjusting the treble. So you would turn it on, adjust the treble. I relocated the power switch up to here, so we can flip a switch, leave the treble where I like it, and it's good to go. The rest of these switches are all intact and everything's working good there. The modifications were pretty interesting, and let me give you a little rundown of what it was. Okay, the overview were 4 mods: too much hiss and noise in the line stage, 2, substantial bass loss in a phono preamp, 3, lack of a grounded common at the speaker output, which caused problems with connecting the speaker switch, headphones, and instruments. So that's what I deleted, was the stereo phase reversal and these 2 switches that applied to that. There's no change to the original input sensitivity or either the phono or line inputs. These mods address 3 areas in the unit. 1, the phono preamp positive feedback adjustment. Eico used positive feedback to achieve adequate low frequency gain in the phono stage. So they measured the preamp at about 10 dB down at 20 Hertz and 4 dB down at 35 Hertz. Doing the modification corrects that to 0.7 dB at 20 Hertz and 0.0 dB at 35 Hertz. Second modification was line stage noise reduction and gain increase. Level in the tone stage is unnecessarily low due to excessive gain in the power amp. Changes increases the gain of valve 3A, and that would be valve 4A also, there's 2 channels, by about 10 dB and eliminates the noise enhancements there. A side benefit, the 12 DW7s are replaced with the more easily obtainable 12AX7. The third modification, the power amp gain reduction, distortion reduction, and stability improvements, and common speaker ground. The ground was moved from the 4 ohm tap to the common speaker tap, and this is taken into account with the new feedback and compensation components. The original PA sensitivity is about 0.2 volts RMS for full output. This is changed to about 0.65 volts RMS to produce full output. This changed to about 0.65 volts RMS to reduce the effects of hum and noise on valves 3 and 5. Additional loop compensation in the PA permits the resulting 10 dB increase in loop gain. This is led by a 3-time reduction in PA distortion, which moving the feedback from the 16 ohm to the 8 ohm tap on the output transformer reduces distortion further at that tap. Adding AC balance pot reduces distortion. It greatly reduces its dependency on resistor 61 and 63 and on tube matching of valve 11, 9, and valve 7AB, both sides of that one. The new loop compensation improves stability dramatically, allowing the lamp to remain stable with pure capacitive loads. So during the changes on this amplifier, I ran into a situation where as I turned up the treble control on channel 2, was where it would happen, the amplifier would go into oscillation. So it would get darn near the top, and then it would go into oscillation, and it would affect both channels. On the channel 1, I would just get a fair amount of distortion on the signal at the very top end. So it was going into distortion there, To eliminate my oscillation, I added a capacitor to the plate output of valve 5A and 5B. So valve 5A, the plate output goes to valve 7 grid. It's a direct input and it does have a resistor to ground. I paralleled my capacitor, which is 0.47 is in parallel with resistor 59, which is a 1 meg ohm resistor to ground. So I paralleled a capacitor with the 1 meg ohm resistor to ground. The other half of it is a valve 5B, pin 6, which is the plate, goes to pin 1 of valve 6, and again I paralleled a 0.47. Let's see here. It was a 0.47 NF cap in with the 1 meg resistor. That seemed to eliminate any of that oscillation I have and solve that problem with this amp. So X-Ray Tony on YouTube did the same rebuild with this amp, a very similar rebuild with this amp. And he did these modifications and he was very pleased with the outcome of those. And I decided to give those a try also, because I'm always up for trying to make things a little bit better if possible, get things to work a little bit nicer, and then solve some of the little shortcomings that were inherent to some of the products. So stick around, we're going to go over some of the repairs on this thing, and I'll show you some of the signals I was getting in and out of this ST70. In the beginning, when I hooked it up to the oscilloscope, the signals out of this thing were not looking very good. So it was due for a restoration. It needed the repair, did the repairs. Things are looking much better. And it's going to go in for some burn-in time. I do have some new tubes coming, so I have some higher distortion at full volume. And I'll get some new tubes and see how that helps, if it does help. I'm very curious to know if new tubes would solve the higher distortion I'm having at full volume. I'm wondering if the output tubes are getting weak and just having to drive them hard to get to 30 watts of output at 8 ohms. Let's take a look at this thing and show you what it took. ST70A modification package. Pretty well written out. Got diagrams. He shows where you connect the different components, what pieces you change, capacitors, resistors, and so forth, what they look like when he took photos of how he did the work. And then he's got some of the different readings he did when he did the modification, and of course a giant schematic at the bottom. Here we go. We got the D&O ST70. Been doing some basic testing on this D&O ST70. What I'm seeing, we have both channels. The oscilloscope's on alternate, so you can see channel 1, channel 2. Turn on the power. Waiting for the tubes to warm up. And we got something. My flat lines have now got a little wave to them. This is volume all the way down. Going over to the phono section. Let's do tape head. This is the highest gain. If you had a tape head with no amplification, getting a fair amount of hum. That's on the right hand side. The right speaker. Left speaker doesn't get it as bad. The right speaker gets it. Turn the bass up, and it goes way up. This is with no inputs going into the receiver. There's my noise. Right channel is right channel. Left channel. We're on phono A. Halfway. Turn the bass up. Definitely get that feedback, that noise level. Treble doesn't. Treble on the left channel. Well, the right channel is the upper one. Yeah, a certain amount of noise there. Excessive hum on the mag, phono, tape head, or mic. Might have a defective valve 1 or 2. I'm at 20 millivolts of drive. Again, my right channel gets some really odd bass action. Okay, our balance. So we have a out of balance situation. Out of balance here on the 2 different channels. Left channel balance all the way over, which obviously is the top trace, and then the right channel goes into oscillation. Turn on the right channel here. Turn this down a little bit. Okay, so what we're working with here, the bass is, this is bass halfway. This is bass 1/4. And it's oscillating. Channel 1 should be the left channel. So we're doing 20 millivolts with a 1 kilohertz tone. Definitely have problems with this amplifier. Turn it over to phono. Let's get some distortion. Does the same thing. All right, here's a look at the bottom of the receiver. Somebody done a considerable amount of work changing a lot of the capacitors in here before I got it, and it was fair. So just give you a look at how it was at the beginning of the modifications, before I did the modifications. And here's another shot at the end. I've done all the modifications to the receiver. Took out all the carbon composition resistors. Moved the 4 can capacitors to the back corner just for spacing. It looks a little better. And here's a look at the top with all the original Eico output tubes. All right, we're at the bench. I got the new tubes. These are some JJ's 7591. The output tubes, all right here, are brand new. Setting the idle current, the balance, and going to see what we can do to do. Good. I need to set up something else, but yeah, we're gonna see how it looks on the distortion analyzer. With the original Eico tubes at 1.2 volts, I had a distortion of 0.6, 0.7, and as soon as I turned it up to 9, 10 volts, I had distortion of 5. Not 0.5, but 5 volts. So, I was hoping that a new set of tubes will fix that problem. The Eico ST70 is completed. We'll do some bench testing here. This is probably going to be the final bench testing if everything works good. I believe I got through all the different items and issues that were on this particular amplifier. So let's go through some of the tune-ups. and see how it's working. I'm gonna set our balance and our idle current. I'm going to be sending in a 1 kilohertz signal into tape auxiliary. I have my tone controls set to the 0 straight up. Everything's off. This is my new power switch here. I stuck the old original Eico tubes back here, the 7591s. These 4 are Eico tubes. I wanted to run it through. They're going to work. I was going to run it with that. Distortion analyzer. 1.26 volts. We are looking at 0.074 on distortion. I think it's a lot better than 0.1 was the original spec. You turn up a bit. And go for over 8 volts. And adjusting the AC balance. 0.58, 57, and it goes back up, so we do have a dip. 0.58. Let's see if we can get that. 0.589. Go back a little bit. Right there, I think, is where we're going to be. So at 8 volts, we are at 0.059. So 0.06 on the distortion. Let me switch this over to the other channel. Again, 1 kilohertz signal in. I'm going to go for 1.2 volts, roughly. Got 1.27 volts on the output into an 8 ohm load. Getting a 0.89. Do this like last time. We'll go up to 8 volts. Yeah, 8 volts into an 8 ohm load. And I'm getting a 0.033 on distortion. The AC balance adjusted, I'm getting a 0.028% distortion. As you can see here at 8.8 volts. The test measurements from the guide I went off of was 8 volts. He did his baseline measurements at 8 volts and 1 kilohertz signal. Again, on this channel, we're at 8 volts, 1 kilohertz signal. We're getting 0.052. It's moving around, 0.052, 0.051. With the A weighting off, it's 0.61. 0.06. 0.06. Going back to the other channel with the filter off, get up to 8 volts. 0.063. 4, 5. It's bouncing around there, but 0.06. This Eico ST70 is tuned up, recapped. The balance pots have all been tuned up. The bias has been set. Got all the mods done on this. So at 8 volts output into an 8 ohm load, we're getting 0.065 on distortion. Got our 8 volts, 0.63. This one was 0.65. I'm pretty happy with that. I think this is going to sound excellent. I'll do a little bit of audio testing, do some burn-in, make sure everything's going to last. And it's good to go for the customer. The Eico ST70. Thank you all for checking in. Have a great day.